Welcome back here to this edition of AD and DT with Athletics Director Bob Beretta of LeMoyne College and myself, Dan Tortora, aka DT, here with you every Wednesday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time with Dolphin Time, and every first and third Wednesday with AD and DT. So as always, Bob, how are you?
I'm doing excellent, Dan. How about yourself?
Doing very well, and we have a few things to talk about here today, and they're in connection to some of the things you've seen on AD and DT as well as on the Dolphin Dive. And last week on Dolphin Dive, we had the exclusive first conversation with Yaro Zavaslan as he's accepted the job as the interim head coach for the LeMoyne women's soccer team. And so when I had the opportunity to speak with him, we had an extensive conversation about why he's here, why he loves this community and really feels like he can build something here, and what he took through the process. So on the other side of it, you know, obviously you have a place in finding that right head coach. So what was it about Yaro that spoke to you?
Yeah, well, thanks, Dan. I appreciate the opportunity to talk about Yaro. We set out to try and find a great leader for our student athletes. We wanted to let our student athletes know that we were trying to put them in the best position possible despite a challenging set of circumstances. And while we searched for someone that would lead in a way that would provide them confidence, but more so a great role model and someone that could really help them get better every day from a technical side of things. And you know, our search led us to Yaro, and there was mutual interest. He's undeniably one of the most highly respected people in the world of soccer in Central New York. Got a tremendous resume, experienced a great deal of success at Cornell at the highest level. Had a 4-year stretch there that was amazing,
yeah.
And won an Ivy League championship, went to the NCAA. So we knew that we found somebody who could really navigate a season really well, and certainly with his current responsibilities at Syracuse FC, we know that he relates to current student athletes in a way that made us feel really comfortable in turning the program over to Yaro's leadership.
And you put interim ahead of that, so you know, this kind of see where it goes basis. What did you discuss with Yaro about that interim status?
So we did not make any promises. The one promise that we made was that we were going to do a national search. So
yeah,
we will. We are committed to a national search that will begin later this fall, late October, November timeframe, near the end of the season. Hopefully, our team is playing for a championship and going to the NCAA's, and it's an extended season, but we're going to do a national search. We made no promises. We promised Yaro that if things went well and he was interested in a long-term arrangement, that he would be a candidate for that role. But we're committed to doing a national search, to completing a national search, and we'll do so with due diligence, and we'll do so with a great deal of care. But hopefully we have a great success, and Yaro is interested and puts himself in position to be strongly considered for the permanent role.
We are hurling toward the fall season. It's on its way. I took a walk last week out in Manly, so there were leaves on the ground. I said, wait a minute. So I don't know what that tree was or what its decisions were, but it's still summer, so I want to remind those trees, keep those leaves.
That's right.
But what can you say about the upcoming fall season, what you're excited about?
Yeah, really excited. You know, Dan, we have our student athletes for several of our fall teams back to LeMoyne. We opened up our soccer camps last week. Coach Yaro's team, the men's team under Tom Bonus. I know you're going to be speaking to Tom here. You know, he had a tremendous team bonding event where they went up to Golden Goal and worked with someone from West Point who's really well versed in the leadership and team bonding elements. So we're really excited about that program. Tom brought in some tremendous talent, and he feels really good about where they are. They played Siena in a scrimmage and defeated Siena 1-0 over the weekend. So that really bodes well for kind of understanding our leadership and the voice and where that was. And we have some really exciting talent injected into that program, and some of our younger players have stepped forward. So really thrilled with where that is positioned. We talked about women's soccer, Coach Yaro, and that transition and how that's going, and the feedback from our young ladies in the program has been excellent. They're learning every day, and Coach Yaro is really provided that stability along with his coaching staff. He's done a great job adding some coaching talent. Yeah. Sean Navison's done a great job for us keeping things together and being part of that program. And now our volleyball team under Beth Fabian's leadership, they started practice on Monday, able to duck my head in and watch a little bit of practice here yesterday, and excited about the path ahead for the women's volleyball program. So those are really the three team sports we have the individual sport of cross country. It's a team sport, but more individuals, and they're reporting this week and beginning to ramp up their seasons as well. Their training sessions, and we have our first home event set here on campus on Thursday, the 25th of August. We have a soccer doubleheader, and it's not a scrimmage or exhibition games. They're for real. So inviting all of our Dolphin family to come out and support Coach Bonus and Coach Yarrow as he begins his tenure as the LeMoyne head coach on the women's side.
Yeah, and it's crazy to think this, but we're there, right? We're there, like you said, the doubleheader for men's and women's soccer. It's alive. It's here in August. It's been a beautiful summer. I think we've been spoiled here. Syracuse has had 80s and 90s, and so the sun has been shining a lot. It's funny how when summer ends, I always hear people go, we didn't get enough sun, it rained a lot, it wasn't hot enough, and I'm like, I don't know if it rained 3 times in the last 2 months. On top of all of that, the fact that it has been so sunny, so beautiful. Like I said, I'm going to go, I said I got to go down to Orlando, Florida, second home of the show, to cool down.
Get some rain down there.
Yeah, so hopefully rain stay at bay, because when it gets hot down in Florida, it's a chance every day. But, I mean, it's been a phenomenal summer, and for you, family-wise, personally, outside of just the realm of LeMoyne College, how has summer been?
It's been great, Dan. It's been an opportunity to really focus and double down on some things internally in the staff. We took a few days in an off-site, although we stayed here on campus, and really took a deep dive into our operations plan, which is our highest 8 top priorities through the calendar year 2023 as an organization, making sure that we're aligned completely with the mission of the institution and how we can do better and what ways we can become more efficient. We've had some great conversations with our head coaches in terms of progress and growth. And of course, we've continued the discussions with our ad hoc committee on athletics reclassification. We completed this week, we'll have completed 20 meetings with that committee. Our 20th meeting will be tomorrow morning on Thursday. So, that has been a focus for not only the athletic department, but it's been a focus for our leadership and all of our key constituents on and off campus.
And you bring it up, we've talked about it a lot here. We were the exclusive first place to hear about LeMoyne College even considering reclassification realignment. We've been your exclusive home for all of the countless updates that we've done. To update us again as we are getting closer to a potential decision, what do we know at this point?
Yeah, it's been a great process, Dan, and the one thing I'll say is this has been an incredibly inclusive discernment process. This has not been a couple of meetings and a fait accompli and let's go Division One. I don't know as I sit here now, I don't know that we have a decision. We don't have a decision. I know that we don't have a decision yet made. I can tell you that we've been very diligent in our efforts, very intentional in terms of being inclusive. We talked to presidents, we've talked to CFOs of other schools. Of course, we have an outside consultant that's helped. And then we've started our open foray. And we have had 2 so far, and the 3rd will be on August 23rd, where we're talking to the community and listening to voices and answering questions and considering things from different angles from different people. And we'll continue that. We'll continue that for the better part of the month of August, providing opportunities. I have 2 student athlete sessions established right now. We'll have 2 sessions with the parents of student athletes also established around the Labor Day timeframe as we continue to listen and learn and gain some perspective from different stakeholders, and then hopefully we'll be in a position to make a recommendation to the Board of Trustees sometime in September, and we'll see what the landscape looks like at that point in time. And it changes every day. It has been quiet. We expected the national landscape to hit a lull during the summer, and it has, but we also believe that there'd be some activity that would resume once classes commenced for the fall semester, and we believe that's the case.
Yeah, and it's definitely been, and you can go back and watch on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/WakeUpCall.DT. We've done a lot of shows about realignment, even more so now than ever. And I actually put a map out there to show people where things are, geographical ideas that I have that maybe conferences should consider, and some things that make all the much sense, which means that they'll probably won't do it. So you have gone through this process. How have the coaches responded to this? Because obviously you speak to the head of each team, and those head coaches have opinions and thoughts. So what has that forum been like to get their feedback on a potential move to Division One?
Yeah, it's been interesting, Dan, and we want to gain perspectives from all areas from our head coaches, and we don't want to just hear from the coaches that are in favor of such a move. We want to hear from those that might not be in favor, so we can talk through any anxiety that they might be having or concerns about if we were to reclassify, what would that mean for their student athletes, their program, and personally themselves. So it's been interesting. We've, again, been very inclusive. So, some of the greatest attendance for these two open sessions have been with our athletic department staff members and our coaches. So they've been very inclusive, and we wanted them to voice their opinions. And some are completely in favor of making a move to Division One 2 years ago. And some are concerned, a little hesitant of what the future may hold if we were to reclassify. Some of our programs have been exceedingly successful on the athletics field in terms of being able to compete for national championships and certainly conference championships and earning a way into the NCAA championships, even if you don't win your conference championship, which is the great allure to Division II. It's the access to that NCAA championships piece. But we've asked our coaches to be open-minded, look at things holistically, and if we make this move, it's not a move solely for the athletic department. It's a move, and I've said this multiple times, it needs to be a strategic move holistically on behalf of the institution and really a main part of our growth strategy as a college, where we could potentially use a New York marketplace, a New York metropolitan area as an area that we could gain a foothold and reestablish a LeMoyne foothold down in the tri-state area if we were so fortunate to gain an invitation to a conference where its members were based in that area. It would provide us that opportunity to tell our story to a region of the country right now that is fertile with both prospective students and student athletes, but also LeMoyne alums. Yeah. Whereas right now, the league that we're competing doesn't offer all those same opportunities. So again, we'll see the direction that we head, but we've been busy and we've been very diligent. We have not missed a week of these meetings. There have been 2 meetings every week since early June. Again, by the end of this week, we'll have concluded 20 of those meetings, and not to mention, I should say, the amount of open forums and open sessions. And now we'll start to expand that even. And expand it, but also target it. When I say expand it to different audiences. And I'll be very active here in the next couple of weeks talking to student athletes, current student athletes, parents of student athletes. And President LeMoyne, I believe, is going to have some open office hour sessions that'll promote more one-on-one dialogue.
And you and I have spoken about it, and you mentioned 3 conferences in the past that make sense: the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference, the MAC, as well as the Northeast Conference, the NEC, and the America East. America East has gone through changes recently. The Northeast has gone through changes recently, and the Northeast is known for taking teams from the NE10. So how do those discussions come about, and do you get advantageous and reach out to them and say, hey, we're going through this process, we'd like to just kind of gauge your interest, or do you finish the process and then go to them? Because you obviously, at Army for over 3 decades, you build a lot of those relationships. So do you try to kind of just dip your foot in the pool and say, hey, just so you know, this is what we're thinking? Right. How do you kind of attack that process? Or do they, reach out to you and say, hey, are you thinking of this? Or we heard that you are. How does that work?
Well, and that was some of the, how we utilized our consultant, Russell Wright from Collegiate Consultants. He contacted me back around Christmas and said, we're hearing some rumblings that there's some conferences that would be interested in LeMoyne if you were to consider reclassifying to Division I. Does LeMoyne have interest? And that really began all of this process for us and really made us look introspectively and say, hey, is this something that would make sense for the college from a growth strategy standpoint? Does it align with our core mission, with our values, with our guiding principles, all these kinds of things? Does it make sense? And so we've done some great reflection about where we are, where we are if we were to stay status quo. We explored the Division III avenue, and we've really kind of settled on looking at whether are we better in Division II right now as a member of the Northeast 10 Conference, or would we position the school for long-term success in a more meaningful way if an opportunity came to join a Division I conference, if that made sense for us. So our consultant continues to have dialogue with conference commissioners throughout the country and certainly in the Northeast region. And I've had conversations with several conference commissioners and explained our process, our discernment process, how thorough we are and have been, and how inclusive we've been, and kind of what our timeline to get to an answer would be. So it's a little bit of this and a little bit of that.
Yeah.
We have conversations directly, we have conversations through our consultant, we have conversations with other people that are involved with the conferences, and we'll see how it all plays out, how it unfolds over the next several weeks. We don't know for sure that those two conferences or those three conferences have interest in LeMoyne. We don't know at what level their interest lies, and that's what we're going to find out here in the next several weeks, and then we'll also find out what direction our leadership wants to follow, which path we want to follow moving forward.
So you've been transparent with them. It sounds like that they have a timeline, they know what you're going through and kind of the things that you're working on. You've allowed them to have the information, right? Better to have more information than you need than to not have enough. So you've at least put it out there that they know.
Yeah, we have, Dan, and our goal, the leadership of LeMoyne, Board of Trustees, Bob Reclitus, the former board chair, Pete Delora, the current board chair, President Lemura, other senior leaders here on campus, our goal was to put LeMoyne in a position to have the agency to make a decision.
Yeah.
Not to have a decision made for us. We wanted to be able to say, hey, we looked at this very closely and it just didn't make sense financially, or it made sense from a growth factor for the institution. It made sense for our students. It made sense for our campus community. It made sense for our academic mission. It made sense for our student athletes to enhance their overall experience. It made sense from an engagement standpoint and admissions, enrollments, all these things to expand our footprint. We want to have the agency to say yes or no to an invitation, so that if we hear there is significant interest,
Mm-hmm.
and we determine that it's not a proper fit at this time, we have the agency to get word to those conferences to say, we're going to take a step back here and we're going to hold serve, if you will, and remain as a member of the Northeast 10 Conference and a proud member of Division II. Or we will have the agency to get word out to the commissioners that we strongly are considering it and would consider an invitation quite favorably if one were to be extended to us.
Yeah, so it's the balance. It's the balance. It's the art of the dance.
It's the prom, yeah. It's the prom. It's prom in an athletics world.
Yeah, and you look at dancing with the one that wants to dance with you is something that my good friend Floyd Little said to me. He said, "There's a lot of pretty people at the dance, but you dance with the one that wants to dance with you as well, that you want to dance with." So we'll see what LeMoyne's doing. We know, thanks to Flipper, that Dolphins can dance.
Dance. They dance well.
Yeah, so we'll see who you'll be dancing with coming up here in the not too distant future. With that being said, this is another edition of AD and DT with Athletics Director Bob Beretta of LeMoyne College, myself Dan Tortora, aka DT, here on Wake Up Call, and you are listening and watching on YouTube.com, Facebook.com, and MixLR.com, all / WakeUpCall DT worldwide, to Dolphin Time every Wednesday at 9 a.m. We'll be back this coming week with Coach Tom Bonus of the LeMoyne Dolphins men's soccer team to speak on how important it was to have that retreat, to have that team building, and to come into this season in a very unique and purposeful way. That'll be coming up here on Wake Up Call and Dolphin Dive next week. Until then, fins up.
Fins up, Dan. Thanks very much.
Appreciate it.